You do not want to get locked out of the Pentagon. Hey, I am Chuck the bureaucrat, and I try really hard not to tell stories about the Pentagon that make it seem worse than it really is, because it's not actually that bad. But there are some experiences I really wish I could have avoided, and one of them has to do with opening and closing the office. As you can imagine, the Pentagon comes with some pretty complex security procedures, and one of them has to do with how you unlock and lock a Pentagon office. Now, most people, when they see the complicated, weird obstacle course you have to go through for this process, their first thought is, I'm going to make sure I'm never first and I'm never last. And I get it. I mean, that was my whole strategy until one fateful night when I got stuck briefing my 3-star at 7 p.m. And that is when my negligence came home to roost. I didn't know what I was doing. I royally screwed up the process. Alarms are going off, security people are showing up, and it added like a whole hour to getting home. Nowadays, I kind of lump the task of unlocking and locking a door as just one of those things that is implied in the soldier's creed when they say, I am proficient at my warrior tasks and drills. First of all, it is not enough just to know how to close the office. You have to know how to open and close. The reason is that when you open an office, there are some steps you take so that you can successfully close it, and vice versa. So if you learn both processes, you understand them better. And by the way, I'm not going to tell you all the steps. You're going to have to talk to your local security people to fill in the gaps that I'm leaving to preserve a degree of security here. Instead, I'm going to point out that there are 3 absolutely crucial things that everybody should know. Number 1, the combination. Even if you never open the office, you have to know the combination. If you make a mistake closing the office, particularly the way I made my first mistake, you need the combination to get yourself out of trouble. Number 2, you're going to need to remember your personal identification code so that you can arm and disarm the intrusion detection system. That code gets assigned to you personally by the security personnel. And if you forget it, you can't phone a friend. Third, you have to know what that little silver button on the back of the combination lock does. It holds the combination lock's knob so it doesn't spin. The reason this is important is if you spin the knob while the door is open, you lock the door and the door will not shut. These are not like your locks at home where you can engage the lock while the door is open and then push it shut. You have to have the door shut when you lock it. That's how I got into trouble. I couldn't close the door, I didn't know the combination, and I couldn't fix it. Now, just like any warrior task and drill, you need to practice it. And here's what I'd tell you. You do not have to be the first person into the office or the last one out to practice these steps. You can do it in the middle of the day. After my late night snafu, I made each and every one of the people working for me demonstrate that they could open and close the office. And one of the first things I do when I get a new job is I run through the opening and closing procedures to make sure that I've got them down. Because here's the thing. If you set off the alarm, the security people are going to show up. But it's not like they're going to come crashing through the ceiling tiles like some kind of 2319. And to be honest, the security personnel seem to appreciate that you train in the new major so that they don't have to hold his hand at 8 p.m. while he desperately tries to figure out the puzzle of how to lock his office. One thing I have to tell you is it is possible to get locked inside a Pentagon office. Do you see that circular knob on the inside of the lock? If you turn that knob It will momentarily disengage the lock so that you can step outside and close the door. I'll tell you, being able to do the little things well, that makes all the difference. In fact, I will almost guarantee that you are tying your shoes wrong, and that's why your dress shoes keep coming untied at unfortunate moments. So if you want to learn how to get this right, watch this video.